All right, guys, thanks for joining this call. Brilliance in the basics, right? Some people are doing well in this market, I'm finding. I'm talking to some who are doing really, really well in this market. And I think the majority of people I'm talking to are the opposite. It's a work year and they're kind of struggling to keep the numbers up like they have the last couple of years. And I understand that because, well, it really is a tough market and it can be, right? So I totally get it. Um, but here's a couple of things. People who follow this program, I'll tell you a couple quick stories about it. So I'm part of a mastermind group, a coaching mastermind group, and we met back in March in Puerto Rico. And a group of us went out to dinner to Old San Juan and found this cool little restaurant. It was great food. And there were like 6 or 8 of us at the table. And I happened to sit next to one woman, Cynthia Rock was her name. She's from Dallas and real introvert. I mean, we had a nice conversation about family, about whatever was going on, and but kind of a real introvert. And I was thinking to myself, I shouldn't judge people like this, but I was kind of thinking, wow, I wonder if she's doing okay in this market because being an introvert in sales, you don't know. So we got to talking about that, and she said, "Yeah, I mean, you're on commission only. We're on commission only. The difference between real estate and lending is we're on a W-2, right? We get paid on a W-2, so taxes get taken out. So it's real easy to, and in this Freedom Club, we call it, this coaching mentor group, it, everyone shares everything, right? It's freedom of money and freedom of time and like that. And so I said, how'd you do? How you doing? She said, well, business is down quite a bit, but I did okay last year. My W-2 was a little over 1 million. And I was like, wow, you made $1 million last year. Good for you, this introvert. And it's because she's doing this brilliance in the basics. So just recently I heard, well, a little while ago, listened to a podcast with a guy up in, you may know him. You may know of him. He's a guy up in Myrtle Beach named Kevin Mills. I don't know if anyone knows Kevin. He's with Century 21, and he's really doing something special. So what he does is he follows this exact same program every single day of the week. He makes 2 hours of outbound phone calls, right? And his GCI last year, he said, was 1.6 million. He doesn't have a team. He doesn't own a brokerage. He has, I think he said, 2 VAs, and that's it. So it's just him and 2 VAs made 1.6 million. It's the power of this stuff, right? It's the power of just blocking out 2 hours every single day to do prospecting. So let's talk about that. Let's get into it because that's what all of us want, right? We're in this business not to make a little bit, but to really do well and have that freedom of time, freedom of money. And that's why we get into the business and to serve people. And this is the best way to serve people, I think, as well. So who do you call every day of the week for 5 days, right? That's the question a lot of people have. It's like, oh, are we pounding Zillow leads? What are we doing? No. So here's what I suggest. And here's what we do, right? On Monday is priority prospecting. From 9 to 11 is what I recommend. And you can do this if you just set it in your calendar, right? A lot of people are like, well, I'd love to, but you know, showings come up, I got inspections come up. My suggestion is schedule inspections and showings and whatnot, and even listing appointments at 11:30 on, not before. 11:30 because it gives you time to travel and get there to the listing appointment, right? So from 9 to 11, target prospects. You can target expireds if you are into that. They're very, very lucrative. Some people hate it, some love it. FSBOs, neighbors of new listings. I mean, how many neighbors are thinking about listing their home 10 houses to each side of each listing, right? Internet leads if you buy them, but you can also target referral partners, right? Loan officers, your favorite loan officer, of course. And you should be getting referrals from all of these people that you're sending business to. Builders, how many builders If you are in with an on-site agent with a builder and you call them every Monday and say, hey, you get anyone coming through who wants to buy one of your new homes, but said they have a home to sell? How many times will that happen? And you're saving the deal for that builder because you're going to move their home quickly, the one that they have to sell. Title company, well, title attorneys, you can tell this is done in a Florida company where title companies are. Stagers, insurance agents, CPAs, probate attorneys are great because how many people get that inherited property and it's just kind of a nuisance. They're like, I don't want to deal with the property. I just want the money. So you list it. Divorce attorneys, etc. Now, let me talk to you about loan officers referrals just for half a second. People come to you have what people want, right? You, being a realtor, have the home, and that's what people want. I have what people need, debt, but they don't really want. So generally speaking, more often than not, people come to you first. However, what I do is, and I'll talk about this on Wednesday, on our Wednesday calls, I call the past clients during what I call clients in process every single Tuesday, and we'll talk about that in a second. And then I call 4 times a year, every past client. And it's great conversations. It's awesome. But I always ask for referrals at the end. And a lot of times we get them. And so that way I'm helping both of us build our business together, right? Once we close the Joneses and the Joneses recommend the Smiths and I get them pre-approved, that goes right back to you because we work together on the Jones house. Tuesday. So Tuesday updates. I always recommend this. Everyone gets a lot of what's the word I'm looking for? Compliments when there's a lot of communication and a very, regimented communication. So what we do and what I recommend that you would do is just call everyone in the transaction every Tuesday just to update them, right? Transaction status, the contract deadlines, any addendums that you need, any repair addendum, the appraisal. So we do this every single Tuesday. We call the selling agent, we call the listing agent, we call the buyer, we call the buyer's spouse, I don't call the title company, the attorney every Tuesday, but regularly we do. And that helps too, because they're the ones who are most often out of the loop. Like, are they going to get the closing package on time? I don't know. And so they really, really appreciate that. It wins points a lot. And referrals. Sorry about that. The buyer, by the way, if you have any comments or questions on here, just unmute yourself and jump right in. Don't hesitate to do that. So anyway, buyers, and here's the real reason behind this. So we get a lot of compliments on, especially listing agents, right? Like the lender never calls me with this stuff, with the update, and it's helpful so I can update my seller and tell them, yeah, we're on track. I heard from the lender, we're on track. The appraisal came in fine, whatever it is. And I think you will do the same. But here's the real secret behind it. I want to tell you that the secret behind this, it's partly to do a great job and communicate, but our goodbye sounds like this. The buyer says, hey, this is great. I love the communication. Thanks for all your help. We're excited about closing, right? And typically we would say, okay, great. Talk to you in the next couple of days. Talk to you next Tuesday if nothing else comes up, whatever. No, our goodbye sounds like this. Do you have any? Thank you for saying that. And yeah, we'll make it smooth for you. By the way, do you have any friends, family, or coworkers looking to buy or sell in the near future that Andy and I can help us as well? And that's it. And if we say that, on a 30-day contract 4 times, and we tell them at the front, is it okay if we ask this every week? And they're always like, yes, of course. We end up getting quite a number of referrals. In fact, tracking it, it's 3 new loans in process for every 10 loans that we have. That's how it's working right now. It's about 30% of the time we get a referral that ends up being a real deal and we can close. So it actually does build business and keep building our business together, you and I. And then you can always ask, is there anything that would, when they say, hey, this is so awesome, Donna, I love it. is there anything that would prevent you from giving me a 5-star review? So what you're doing is teeing it up and really asking for a Google review, right? And that helps build your business as well. Oops. Sorry about that. Okay, so Monday, let's go back. Monday is priority prospecting. Tuesday updates and asking for referrals. And then Wednesday is past clients. And I got to tell you, this is my favorite day of the week. And I didn't do this for years. I never called past clients. I know, because I'm an idiot, I guess. I don't know why, but I never did it. But now I do. And I was nervous at first because you got to remind them of who you are and that you actually did business together. And sometimes that does happen. I've had many conversations like, yeah, why are you calling? And I remind them, and they're like, oh yeah, exactly. You helped with the home loan, and Shane was the realtor, and she was awesome, and all that. So I had kind of, if you're nervous about calling past clients because you're not used to doing it, I had an excuse, a crutch, if you will. I would start off the conversation, hey, housing's in the news all over the place because rates are up and all this stuff. So I wanted to check in with you, see how you guys are doing, etc. And that was my crutch to make that first call because I hadn't done it for a while, whatever. And I found that I didn't even need the crutch. After several calls, I got to about the M's and I was like, you don't even need it. You just talk. And they're the best conversations you'll have all week because you know each other. You work together. You had a great experience together. So what do? You just ask them how they're doing. Just have a brief conversation. And everything going great with the house? Awesome. That's great. And you'll be amazed at how many referrals you get from past clients if you do this call 4 times a year. And you call 4 times a year by calling A's and B's this week, C's and D's next week, E's and F's, last name starts with E and F the week after. And that ends up being 4 calls per year, right? If you do it every single week. And I highly recommend it because then they get used to your call. They're picking up the phone. Hey, good to hear from you again. That's so awesome. And it's just a great way to do it. So that's what I recommend. Let me see. Shane, Andy, okay. So, but always end the call with this. Do you have any friends, family, coworkers that might be looking to sell or buy in the near future? And they'll be like, and then just be quiet and wait. And I'm amazed how many people do. Oh yeah, my sister's going to move down in the fall. Yeah, that'd be great if you can help her out. That's terrific. Or whatever it is. I called one, I think it was last week, said, oh, actually, I do. I just was talking to my coworker and yeah, here's their number. Give them a call, help them get pre-approved in my case. And then that's my favorite call on my side, because then if I get a referral and I send it back to, and I can call Shane and be like, Shane, you remember when we closed the Murphy's? That was awesome. Well, they just recommended a coworker. I just got a pre-approval. Pre-approval letters coming your way, and we're building business together. But I highly recommend this. You get more referrals from this than any other thing that I do. By the way, we have a handout that we'll get to everybody, and we'll send that shortly. That's where these graphics come from. It just is a reminder of what to do every week and all this stuff. So extra outreach, I mean, handwritten notes. So there was, I can't remember the guy's name, but there was a guy who, I think he's in the world record book for having sold the most cars from a car dealership ever. And what he would do, if anyone knows his name, just unmute and say it because it's a famous story. But what he would do is write several handwritten notes every single day and mail them out to his past customers, just saying, I like you. And I think that's an awesome thing to do because it's just a simple little thing, as you're talking to past clients here, if something comes up that they're going through something really, really good or not so good, well, that's your note to write. You have a database for their home anniversary, etc. Just send them a note. Hey, a year ago we closed. I hope you love the home. Whatever. People don't get notes in the mail anymore. They really don't. And so it's a really good thing to get in the habit of 5 per week, one a day, just one a day, and it'll really move the needle a little bit. Um, by the way, I'm going back to this because what if you're new in the business and you're like, I don't have a ton of past clients. I have 10 past clients. So I got one Wednesday, I'm done for the quarter, and I'll call them the next quarter. Well, then substitute that for sphere of influence, right? How many people do you have plugged into your cell phone? Most people have 1,000, 1,200, something like that. That's your calls. That's your Wednesday calls, right? Just substitute one for the other and just ask for the business. Have a nice conversation, ask for the business. It's as easy as that. Okay, so let's recap one more time. Monday, priority prospecting. Tuesday is Tuesday updates with loans in process or buyers in process or sellers in process. Yeah, always ask for the referral. Wednesday is past clients or sphere of influence. And Thursday is pre-approved and looking. This one's very important, especially now because there's a lack of inventory in 2020 and 2021. If we got someone pre-approved and out looking, I mean, we found a house for them right away, right? It was like a matter of, well, unless there were competing offers and whatever, but generally speaking, you'd find a house. Right now, I do this religiously every Thursday, pre-approved and looking calls. And right now, there's a lot of people getting kind of frustrated. I just can't find the house I want. There's not enough inventory. What we're looking for is not in the market. And here's the other thing I hear at least twice every Thursday, literally. I hear, yeah, I mean, we've been looking and, Andy's been showing, I hate to pick on Andy, but just one name. Andy's been showing us some property, but, we're also talking to this other agent, Sally, and she's starting to show us some, maybe she can find what we're looking for. And that's where I come in. I'm like, wait a minute, whoa, Andy's working. Let me suggest that if you stick with one realtor, everyone has access to the same MLS, the same listings, but Andy's working really hard for you. If you start spreading out, no one's going to work as hard for you to find that home. And I know Andy's already looked at neighborhoods you're looking at and reached out to several people who are not on the market just to see if they're interested in selling because it's the perfect home for you. And I have to resell that. So if you're not calling every week, I know they're on a drip and they're looking at houses and all of that, but people are getting squirrely out there a little bit. So calling every week, updating, here's what I've done for you, here's what I'm looking for, it just cements them with you and prevents them from going somewhere else and looking. Because I do hear that at least twice a week, every Thursday when I call and I have to resell that agent. And then I tell the realtor, hey, you might want to give these guys a call because here's what's going on. And then we pull them in together. So what do you do there? As well as tell them what you're doing for them to find the right home, kind of future cast a little bit, keep them motivated. And on a beautiful day like today, beautiful in some places, Shane, not so much in your place, but on a beautiful day like today, man, I absolutely love it. Won't it be great to be preparing for that backyard barbecue with your friends, having them over on Saturday? And it'll be your place. It'll be your backyard barbecue, arranged how you want. Build a little fire pit in the back. I think that's awesome plan. It's gonna be great. We're gonna get you the house. Kind of future cast with them to keep them motivated. That's what I find is it's an emotional process buying a house. Everyone knows that. It should be rational from the mortgage side. It's not. It's emotional. So future casting keeps the motivation high. And then Friday, I can call it sphere of influence marketing. Really, it's Friday. I think it's good to do all the other stuff, right? If you're doing Facebook or Instagram ads, great. Keep, update the ad, put a new ad out, whatever you need to do there. If video really works, it really works well. And so a video tip of the week, something like that. We'll get to content ideas in just a second. If you're doing TikTok videos, good for you. I don't do those, but I know some who are, and they're doing pretty well. That's the new thing, right? Whatever it is, that's your marketing day, more than anything, right? From 9 to 11, your 2 hours. Again, I go back to Kevin Mills. up in Myrtle Beach. He does this religiously, 5 days a week. He hits the phones. I don't think he does the social media marketing stuff, but he just hits the phones 5 days a week. And his GCI was 1.6 million. It's just consistent. Oh, and he's been in business 5 years as of the recording of that podcast. So it's not like he's been in a business for years and years and years. Year 5, he hit 1.6. So it's just a consistency of doing this really snowballs and builds over time. And by the way, if you don't know what to do on media and stuff like that, utilize AI. If you were on the AI call that we had last month with Scott Sheng, it was really practical stuff of how to use AI, Chat GPT especially, for your real estate business. Internally, my company has a contest where we're doing reels and little videos, fun little videos that are fun, creative, and informative. And the thing is to do one, they asked us to do one on the importance of getting pre-approved. And so I just put it in Chat GPT and said, write me a video script that's fun, creative, and informative of the importance of getting a pre-approval. And it spat something out. It was a little longer than I said. I said, Chat GPT, shorten it up a little bit. It did. We recorded it yesterday. You guys will see it soon. It's being edited right now. And it's just a super fast, easy way to not really think about having to write the script or think through the script. It writes it for you. It's fun. So what are your content ideas? Frequently asked questions, share a checklist for buyers, real estate terms. What in the world is a CL100? What is that? Says a first-time buyer, right? Something like that. Market trends is a really good one right now because it's interesting because everyone's focused on it and interested in, are we going up in inventory, down in inventory? Are home prices going up? Are they staying stable? Are they falling? That's all over the news and everywhere. So that's a good one. Sharing testimonials is great. I mean, if other people love working with you, well, buyers are out there and sellers are out there going, well, maybe I'll love working with Donna as well, right? This is important, photos of home buyer transactions, but I do see some realtors that's all they show. It's like, okay, that's not helpful. All this other stuff mixed in becomes much more helpful. So what are you looking for? Well, this is what I suggest. Get to 13 talk-tos every single day, not just voicemails, not texts, but actual conversations, right? Because that moves the needle. We said 5 personal notes per week. This one says per day. It's up to you. If you're a note writer, do 5 a day. If you're not, anyone on here heard of the core training? It's high-end coaching training for top producing realtors and loan officers. And they say 5 per day, 5 handwritten notes a day. That part is I'll let you make the call on, but at least 5 a week is important, I think, and it will move the needle. You can do pop-bys and community events and stuff like that, and etc. So hopefully this helps. Yeah, I do recommend one event per month, for past clients or for your core referral partners, people who are actually referring you stuff, things like that. So it just brings everyone together. People do business with people they like, and you guys on this call are all very likable, so it makes it easy. If you're hanging out with them it costs a little bit of money to do a happy hour or something like that, but it's money well spent. So that's it. I mean, literally, it's back to the basics, right? It's down to the basics. What I have seen is so many people, I'll go back up to the top. So many people are winning with this strategy. If you actually block off 2 hours a day, it's non-negotiable. That's your appointment, is with your phone for 2 hours, or video on Fridays, right? That's your appointment every Friday every day of the week from 9 to 11. And then you can set other appointments. Then you can set your listing appointments and your showings and your inspections and your everything else. Here's what I found in the Freedom Club, the thing I'm part of. They had always said, if you do this for 90 days, you'll see a difference. What I'm finding and talking to people is it's actually right now in this market about 5 months. And then you start seeing it's like a tipping point. You know, that book, The Tipping Point? It's like you're building, 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 and then it just goes and business really picks up. And instead of doing 1 or 2 deals a month, all of a sudden you're doing 4 or 5 deals a month. And it makes a huge difference, right? But that's what I'm seeing in this market right now. Most people, well, I think of Nate. Nate was up in Asheville with us. I was in Asheville for this Freedom Club meeting 2 weeks ago, I want to say, maybe 3. And Nate's a guy who has been in the mortgage business for either just under or just over 1 year. He's right at the 1 year mark. And he closed 8 loans last month because he's doing this every single day. We have something called Call Stars. We all log into a Zoom meeting and we talk about, okay, here's our deal. Today we're talking Tuesday updates. And then we all mute ourselves and we can see each other making calls, which is cool. And Nate's on there every single day, every day, making his calls. And a year in the business, in a relatively tough year in this business, he closed 8 loans last month, which is awesome. So it works on the real estate side, it works on the lending side. It's just basics. And then you can throw in all the other stuff that you may want to do. But Carl White, the guy who started the Freedom Club, would say, and I would agree, throw in other stuff that you want to do that helps build business as well, but only after you've set this foundation, because this foundation will really help grow everything. So hope that helps. Anyone welcome to unmute and comment or question or anything you got. All right. Well, I'll take that as everyone loves the information. I'm going to take it as everyone loves the information. Could be the opposite. I don't know. But
well, I want to say something.
Yeah, go.
Something. Thank you, first of all. And looking at this plan is terrific. And I think that the first reaction I got is like, I really never did this to the fullest. And the word is overwhelming. Overwhelming hits you first. So my approach, taking your advice and say, hey, I'm going to try this, is just chip at it and then build it. That's the way I'm going to handle it, rather than just, I got to make these certain calls. I'll build it up to that or more. But
yeah,
I don't know if that helps my thinking.
No, that's great. And I love that, because that's someone else I talked to, part of the Freedom Club, is having a really, really good year this year. And I asked him how. I mean, you're doing your calls and stuff like. He said, because what I decided to do this year, being a work year, is I make 10 more calls. When I'm done with my 2 hours, I make 10 more calls. And he found that moves the needle. So I think that's where you're going with that, is let's build up to it. But yeah, sometimes you got to do just a little bit more than all your competitors are doing in order to really jump ahead.
And what I got out of this meeting also is I've been in sales for many, many years, and there's one word: consistency. So
that's the word of the day. That's funny you say that. That was up in Asheville, what we talked about over and over, whether it was, I don't know if you like cigars, but we were all sitting around the fire pit outside one evening having cigars, or a group of us was, and that was what came up in that conversation. That came up from people presenting during the day on stage, all that stuff. Consistency was like the word, Yeah, I totally agree with that. If you can be consistent with this, it will absolutely transform your business, guaranteed. It just takes a while. And that's the hard part. You do it, and you're not really seeing results until they snowball, and all of a sudden, boom, you just explode with production, listings, and buyers. Anyone else got anything you wanted?
Thank you, Jim.
Shane, awesome. I'm glad you guys made it. And Yeah, we'll send out the kind of the handout that has the stuff on it. So look for that via email and awesome. Thanks guys for joining. And I hope you do this. And I know if you do, it'll really move the needle in your business. You'll explode. Have an awesome day.
Thanks a lot.
All
Thank
right.
you.
See you guys.
Bye.
Bye.